Olber's paradox. Olber's paradox, also known as the dark night paradox or Olber's and Chesso's paradox, is an argument in astrophysics and physical cosmology that says the darkness of the night sky conflicts with the assumption of an infinite and eternal static universe. In the hypothetical case that the universe is static, homogeneous at a large scale, and unpopulated by an infinite number of stars, any line of sight from Earth must end at the surface of a star, and hence the night sky should be completely illuminated and very bright. This contradicts the observed darkness and non-uniformity of the night sky. In other words, what we see is not brightness. We see the dark when we look out into the night sky. Good morning, everybody. This is Old Tigger coming to you from Oklahoma. Welcome to my channel, Christie's Musings. When I drive to work each weekend, I have about a 40-something minute drive to get to work. And as I was driving, I was thinking about those sightings that they'd had in New Jersey and different parts of the world where they're seeing all these flashy lights, And I got to thinking, on my channel, I have said before, if I ever saw one, I'd be looking on the bottom of it, get my flashlight and look to see made in the USA or made, wherever. I want to see where it came from, like the little emblem that they put on flying craft. I'd be trying to find that. But I got to thinking about it, and I was like, they probably could just say that all of those are Earth-made objects. Why? Because of the headlights. Got to thinking, why would something that's traveled through wormholes and such, why would it need headlights? And I was like, maybe I'm stupid or something. But anyway, as I researched, I discovered that I was not the only one that thought this way. But like I said, I've always wondered if these things are made here in America, something that came from Operation Paperclip. And I got to thinking about how, as men, we've not really made that great of technology. And I was thinking about how in the 80s, you see them little skinny guys on the beach walking around with them big boom boxes and thinking they were all something. They get a big old smile on their face and they look so stupid. That big old boom box is bigger than them. And then in the 80s, we also have this story called the Cash Landrum incident. Came out of Texas. December 29, 1980, the lives of 3 Texans was changed forever and not for good. While driving through the southern tip of the East Texas piney woods north of Houston, Betty Cash, Vicki Landrum, and Vicki's 7-year-old grandson Colby came upon a huge diamond-shaped object just above the trees and 130 feet away. Cash hit the brakes, and she and the elder Landrum stepped outside. Immediately, they noticed intense heat. Their faces felt as if they were burning. When Vicki re-entered the car and touched the dashboard to steady herself, she left a handprint. Blasting fire and heat, the UFO slowly ascended. Suddenly, numerous helicopters, ding ding ding, clue, 23 in all, appeared from all directions, positioning themselves near the strange craft. By this time, the witnesses were back in the car and watching the spectacle from their moving vehicle. Other motorists saw the object and the helicopters from different, more distant locations. Eventually, the flying objects were lost to view. Unfortunately, the episode was only the beginning. Back home, the three fell sick, Cash most severely. She suffered blisters, nausea, headaches, diarrhea, loss of hair, and reddening of the eyes. On January 3rd, unable to walk and nearly unconscious, she was admitted to the Houston hospital. Vicky and Colby were experiencing the same symptoms, though less severely. The witnesses' health problems continued to this day, and in 1991, Cash's personal physician, Dr. Brian McClellan, told the Houston Post that her condition was a textbook case of radiation poisoning, comparable to being 3 to 5 miles from the epicenter of Hiroshima. For years, the three have pursued their case through the courts, seeking answers and redress, but official agencies deny any knowledge of the incident, even though the helicopters have been identified as twin-rotor Boeing CH-47 Chinooks used by both the Army and the Marines. And see, remember those boom boxes. So, like, these boys in the military, I think, got too big for their britches and tried to do something with radioactive energy. And they burnt the heck out of a highway, and that had to be patched, and burnt the heck out of these women, this child. But like I said, I know that humans have been trying to get the ability to travel across the universe. And there's people like Robert Sepper, Sepher, that's had videos about the technology that we got in Operation Paperclip. But if you've followed all of this stuff going on with places like China and Chat GPT and DeepSeek, you know that there's, stuff going on, competitions, just like in the 60s when we had the moon landing and everything. There is competition between the United States and the Russians back then to go to space first. But back to my earlier supposition about the headlights, I didn't want to read anything that was going to mess up my way of thinking until I got my thoughts all together. But I was like, if I'm seeing headlights, that would be a good indication that these have to be man-made objects, because they've got to be registered somewhere, the flights and such. That was my initial thinking. And so I researched it, and I found out that, like I said, there's other highly, lot smarter than me people that have thought the same thing. So here's a few little highlights. In reality, most spaceships likely wouldn't have headlights like a car because in the vacuum of space, there's usually no darkness to eliminate. However, some spacecraft, particularly those landing on planets or exploring dark environments, might use specialized lights for navigation and visibility, which could be considered similar to headlights in function, but not in the same way as a car's headlights. Here are some points to think about, though, with spacecraft lights. There's no need for general illumination since space is mostly dark but not completely black. There is no need for headlights to see where you are going in the vast emptiness. When landing on a planet or moon when with limited light, rovers or spacecraft might use headlights to illuminate the terrain and navigate safely. Docking and visibility. Some lights might be used for docking maneuvers with other spacecraft, helping to visually align during the process. Communication and signaling. Bright lights could be used for signaling other spacecraft or ground control in certain situations. So, as I was thinking about it, I was thinking about this movie, Interstellar. Interstellar, Matthew McConaughey, he travels through these wormholes, and I won't tell the whole story, but you see what happened to a man-made spaceship traveling through wormholes. So people that have perfected the ability to travel through the vastness of the universe, I think would have perfected the ability to smoothly go through, because I would think that there would be some kind of interdimensional or time travel or something going on, and they would have to have perfected the ability to move through all of this without happening, what happened to Matthew McConaughey. And so, long story short, like I said, I got to researching when I finally had my thoughts put together, like what I just told you. And I found this thing from 2011 by Adam Frank. It's called High Beams of the Gods. Do UFOs need headlights? And this is what he says. The problem, of course, is that any civilization with technology capable of spanning light years ought to be able to hide themselves well enough to avoid detection from hairy apes with jet planes like us. Lights in the sky has been at the root of many UFO sightings, but why would alien spacecraft need lights? If they were really planning interstellar black ops, then they should paint their spacecraft, black, and turn off the dadgum lights. He said another word. Yes, of course, it might be their engines, but a species crossing trillions of kilometers of empty space is not going to be using rockets. Hopefully they have some other kind of hyperdrive or something cool. If so, they should be smart enough to stealth its exhaust. Does hyperdrive have exhaust? I want a universe populated by intelligence as much as anyone else, but as an astrophysicist, the whole UFO thing leaves me cold. In the end, we are almost always left with lights in the sky and many, many more plausible explanations than alien high beams. As I was researching this video, I came across Ross Coulthart from News Nation, and he was talking about a blue orb and psionics and stuff like this. I'll try to find the link and I'll put it in the description of my video. I won't go into it, but like I said, I thought about these lights in the sky and how that could almost completely tell you that these are man-made objects that we are seeing. But Ross Coulthart, he talked about a blue orb, and that's what I was thinking. At first I was thinking bioluminescent, and I was like, no, that's not the right word, because bioluminescent is what you see in the oceans and such. So I was trying to up with an appropriate word, and then I came across, like I said, this article about the headlights in the sky. But yeah, I was just thinking that if they travel all through, I don't think man's got the ability to do all of that yet, but I do believe that man's got the ability to get too big for his britches and start trying to compete with other nations and flex their muscles and such. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you got anything out of it, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Love you all, and I'll talk to you later.